Good evening, everyone, once again. And first of all, I think I really need to apologize for last week, the last minute cancellations, because it was a very chaotic week for me last week. Like my dad was hospitalized because of COVID, the early part of the week. And because of that, my mom was like, having high blood pressure and all that. And before we know, my ama admitted to the hospital because of heart failure. So it's like last Thursday, I still wanted to do the talk, but unfortunately he passed away on last Thursday afternoon. So I need to rush down to do the ceremony. And that's the reason why I couldn't join y'all for the talk last week. So sorry for that. Yeah. So to start today, I think we do something light, as I know many of y'all have been facing the Zoom the whole day long, or working the whole day can be a little bit tired. So I'd like to know, how is your week, or how are you feeling right now? You can use the emoji, and maybe you can put into the chat. So many people don't like to talk on the Zoom, so can key into the chat, like how are you feeling this week, or how are you feeling, and how are you feeling now. So two emoji. Oh, so I saw a sadness face. Okay, thumbs up, super happy. Okay, sunshine, nice. Okay, some are happy one. Good, good, good. Thank you everyone. So far okay. Tired, yes, it must be. Thank you for encouragement. Thank you. Yes, good. Raise hand meaning you got something to say, or just okay. So I take it like just okay. So don't underestimate simple exercise like this. It's actually it helps us to create our awareness towards ourselves. How are we feeling right now? Because most of the time we are so consumed with our life situation. We have to do many things, living in the city where I do many things, and really forget about how we feel. And a simple exercise, sometimes, when you're free, you can just do it for yourself. You can use the weather forecast as an example. You can use the emoji, things like that to check, hey, how am I today, So you actually reconnect back to yourself. It is part of the mindfulness training, and it's also the training of we getting more connected to ourselves. And this small little practice, if you practice consistently, it will actually add on to your parami later on towards your meditation proper, towards your, the meditation proper, because you get to know yourself better instead of always outside, gradually we try to train ourselves to go inwards. So this is the purpose of, I always like to do this weather forecast check before the beginning of the talk. It's a subtle way, a skillful means of just remind you all of this mindfulness training on how you can put Dharma into daily life, into small situation like this to really practice. Yeah. Okay. And to recap, to start the talk, I think it would be good to recap what we have covered the last round, because today's talk, we will be continue to talk about the next slides, the 3 marks of existence. Today I'll be talking more about the Anatta, the self and the non-self. Well, non-self, but I need to talk about what is self first before I can talk about non-self. So 3 marks of existence, as I mentioned last week, is one of the very fundamental of the Buddhist teaching. And this is also part of our 8 Noble Eightfold Path, the right view. Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. Because most of us, we think that things are permanent. My partner is permanent. My job is permanent. My house is permanent. My car is permanent. My health is permanent. We always have this wrong perception and wrong view that things are permanent. So when that change, it causes dukkha. This is where we have sufferings. And we always think that we have this very solid I, that is living in this world, and that's Anatta. So this is these 3 marks of existence. To understand this will actually help us to get the right view, so that with the right view, then we know how to practice, even in our daily life, how we conduct ourselves, how we should think, and how we should behave. Yeah, next slide. So yes, last week we covered about the last session we covered anicca. What is will be was. So like whatever that has happened, even just now I mentioned about 3 months of existence is already was. Nothing is permanent. Your breathing, you think that your breathing is continuous, it's not true. Your breathing this moment is different from your breathing next moment, because our cells inside our body we can't see are changing all the time. So the combinations of every moment is always different. So this is anicca, impermanent. Next slide. So we cover about anicca. Everybody know, things are anicca. Many people talk about anicca. The uniqueness of anicca from the Buddhist context is that because anicca, Alvin, I think you have accidentally unmute. Okay, thank you. Yes. So the uniqueness of the Buddhist anicca is that because of impermanence, we have this constant rebirth. Our consciousness will take rebirth all the time. So whatever we do today, it is become a collective karma that will bring forward to the next life. So do not get too passive about it. I actually look at it very positively, meaning that if things are anicca, I can change my life. If I were to start to do good now, my whole life, this lifetime, maybe you cannot see big impact yet, but I'm sure you see some goodness. But I'm sure, in your future life, you are actually starting the path of purification, and your future life, the number of good karma will surpass the number of bad karma. So your future life, until you gain enlightenment, you experience more comfortable life, better rebirth. So, in order to have that, we need to start practice this lifetime. No matter how small any act we do, it becomes a collective effort. Yeah, in our karma, Yeah. So next slide. And another very important point about anicca in the Buddhist context is things are interdependent. As I say, as we were discussed last time, just like the apple, in order for the apple to ripen, you need the tree, you need the soil, you need the sun, you need the water. There are many elements to come together before we can produce such a thing called apple. So everything's are interdependent. So does our life. We are surrounded by our family, our social, your workplace, your social circle, and in a limited context, this is who we are, and this is all interdependent. Your changes will also affect your family members. And let's say for my case, when my ama passed away, it changes our family structure also. Yeah. So yeah, this is how it is interdependent. If any question anytime, you can just key into the chat. So this is interdependent. And lastly, we discussed about dukkha. Next slide. The slides after next. In the Buddhist Sutta, you always hear that, dukkha, birth, aging, sickness, death, sorrow, lamentation, all these, I think everybody can recite like mantra already, very, very familiar. Because every Dhamma talk you go, definitely will cover this because it's so important. And in conclusion, the 5 aggregates clinging are dukkha. And today we're going to talk more about 5 aggregates to understand the 5 aggregates better. And I will also bring to a more mundane level so that it may become more relevant to who we are at this in this lifetime. Yeah. So last week we also cover about next slides. Okay. So last week we talked about, it's not because of impermanent that we suffer. It's because we want things to be permanent, which is not going to happen, that cause most of our suffering. Okay, remember that because we don't want things to change. When I have something good, I don't want my dad to go to hospital, but he go to hospital. With the changes, if you cannot accept, you suffer. You bring stress, definitely. Yeah, so this is suffering in a very mundane context. So next slides. Then after the serious Dharma stuff, we also talk about more light-hearted stuff about, using the iceberg to describe who we are, and, what we know is only the tip of the iceberg, and what we do not know is underneath the iceberg. That in the Dharma practice, this is what we need to discover. And next slides. And to break it very simple, I have used a bit of my counseling theories to make it very, very layman context so that everybody could understand. I've subdivided into 4: thoughts, emotions, body sensation, and behavior. And last week we covered the last session we covered about thoughts, and I have given you all some homework, which is on the next slides. So far, I only received one feedback, written feedback. How about the rest? I'm so disappointed. It's something about learning Dharma is that I'm not your teacher, we're just sharing Dharma here. I'm just sharing my experience with my own teacher. Being a student, we need to have the qualities of the student, which is proactive. Whenever the teachers give us homework, we don't wait for the teachers to ask, so have you done? Have you tried? This is like, the student, it tells me, not me, I know that, I'm not diligent if I do not report to my teachers before she asks or before he asks me. I have a few good Dharma relationships with good teacher-student relationship with few teachers. What I do is, after what my teachers teach me, I always think, I always try. And before they ask me, or the next time when they see me, I see them, I'll definitely feedback to them what was my experience like. So they know that I'm trying, even though I can't do it yet, but they know I try. So as a teacher, they become very happy. Oh, this student is very diligent. It gives energy to the teachers to want to teach more. And it also it also shows that, hey, this student is a little bit different from the rest. This student shows the quality, he or she has the quality of the student. So this is how students, sometimes the teachers might be, we perceive it as bias towards certain students. Not easy to get students to do homework, yes. Sometimes it's like, not because we teachers bias. Sometimes we see like certain teachers favor certain students. Actually, it's not true, It's because these students are super hardworking, super diligent. So the teachers spend more time and effort on that student. So if you want to be that special student, you know what to do next, huh? Today I will give more homework, so you must do, okay? I'm not your teacher, but whatever I share today is based on my own experience and my learning, that if you were to practice it sincerely in your daily life, in no time you see that, you will have better progress in your meditations, in your path of purifications. So what we covered last week was Don't let the thoughts control you, but you control the thoughts. Then when you have too much thinking, we try to stop it. This is one way. And thought changing, which is if you know that you're aware that you have a lot of negative thoughts, then self-talk to yourself to make it positive, and contemplations about the Dharma, as in like, you try to group it like, my thoughts, is it more anger thoughts or more attachment thoughts? What kind of thoughts I have for that period of time that I pay attention to. So this is how we apply Dharma in our daily life, to increase your parami, to put more money you put into your saving bank, your meditation saving bank account. So this is how we can practice as an urban practitioner. So today, Anatta. Next slide. Thank you. So Anatta, Anatta in the layman term is called non-self. Anybody would like to share what is non-self to them? You can unmute yourself or you can type on the chat. I know it's a very cheap topic. Yes, Marcel, I see you raise hand. Is it not thinking about yourself? Not really, but good try.
Hi, Sayalay. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
My understanding of non-self is that there is no fixed identity.
Which is what we covered earlier on, impermanence. And that's why I want to recap what we covered on our last session, impermanence, no permanent self, that's right. But sometimes we talk about, non-permanent self, it can be very abstract, right? Do you see yourself as permanent or not permanent? We always see ourselves as permanent, right?
Yes.
No, me, mine, then what else? Hang on, I try to see the chat. No, okay, not taking personally. No, I would die. Okay. We are not in control of what we want. Okay. Good. Thank you for the feedback. Give me energy now. Otherwise I was a bit tired. No permanent self. Okay, yes, Anatta. Anatta basically in the Buddhist context, it means what Marcel has shared, that is not a person's that we identify as I. Next slide. So for the Buddhists, we actually remember earlier on when we talk about dukkha, we talk about the five aggregates, the five clinging aggregates are dukkha. And Buddha actually classified us like, who we are into these five aggregates. We are actually nothing but a combination of these five elements, the five ingredients together. And because of our wrong view, we think that it is solid. We think that our thinking is real, our emotions, our feelings is real, our action is real. We cling on to it so tightly that from a naked eye, it seems that everything is so solid and permanent. I take an example. Have you all go to a circle before? Where, sometimes they will use one string and they tie some kerosene and a cotton wool, and they light the cotton wool, and they swing the string, and you will see a circle of fire. Is the circle real or not real? Not real. But at that time, at the circle, when you're watching it, you would think that the circle is real, right? Because it looks like a circle of fire moving. I mean, it's not moving. It seems like it's permanent and it's keep on It just becomes a circle. So does who we are. When we break it down, we are actually just these 5 things. But because we, out of ignorance, we keep thinking, we keep on thinking, we keep on our feelings and keep on feeding it. So like the circle, you give them momentum. And with the momentum, the I becomes so solid. Can understand this analogy? So this is how we perceive that who we are and our life is real. Next time you think about it, you try to remember this circle, the fire ring. At the moment, we think they are so real, but the moment when you die, our whole life is just like the fire. Once it's extinguished, it's gone, nothing left. Or even, let's say, make it very simple, your primary school experience, your secondary school experience, are they real when they happen? So real, right? But you're looking back now, are they real? It is just only a memory. So all the things that we experience, it all seems very real at the time of the situations. If we cling on to it, stupid or crazy or clever. Sometimes, like, we want things to happen in a certain way, and if it doesn't happen that way, we would suffer a lot because we think that that is the only way. We keep on clinging to what we think is real. But remember this example, everything is actually not real. Yeah. So Buddha actually used like a banana trunk. I'm not too sure if you seen banana trunk or onion. Onion, I'm sure that everybody will have seen it in your kitchen. On the surface, it looks like an solid onions, but if you cut it open, it actually fall apart pieces. And this is how Buddha described the 5 aggregates. It's just layer after layer after layer. And because it all comes together, it becomes a solid I. Make sense? Yeah. I would not go very deep into the 5 aggregates of clinging because we have shortage of time, and 5 clingings, you just Google, you just YouTube. There are many, many good talks on this topic, and you can just go and listen and to understand deeper of these 5 aggregates of clinging. Before we move on, I just use one example about feelings. Last week we talked about relationship and break off. I think last sessions. So we continue to use that as our example. When we break off, and let's say sometime later when you see the person or you see the photograph, feelings come back or not? Feelings come back, right? Why? Well, okay, context feeling, contact because the eye contact to the objects, then it arises emotions again. And that feeling sometimes is because we're attached to the feeling, not because we're attached to the objects. It already lost, but because we're attached to the feeling, our own feeling. That's why we always feel the suffering in us. It's because of our attachment to our feelings, our perceptions. Our perceptions is the experience that we encounter. How to make it simple will be, from young we are learned This is called a ruler. And each time when you see this, our perception will tell us this is a ruler. But if a person's have not learned that this is a ruler, do you think he or she has this perception that this is a ruler? So whatever we had go through, like when we see something, definitely we have these perceptions that come into play. That, to identify this object, the form, as we identify with, we label it with something. So this is how, a little bit of how these 5 aggregates work. Okay, but I won't want to go deeper into this because it can be very, very cheap and can be very confusing. Later on, I will use a simple example, daily life, to explain, to let you understand how conditioning works. Okay, next slide. So there are these 2 types of clinging. Clinging to I, me, my. I'm clinging to phenomena. Remember earlier on I said that Buddha said the 5 aggregates of clinging is the suffering. And the 5 aggregates, because of ignorance, we think that is the I, me, and my. So how this I, me, and my are being conditioned? We don't talk about past life, we just use our present life. What do you think how our I, me, and my are being conditioned? Anybody has some thoughts about it? How we are being conditioned? We are given a name at birth, yes. View society, yes, yes. Growing up, yes, yes, very close. So actually, the I, me, and my is not, apart from the karma brought from the past life, and also a habit brought from past life, a lot of them is being conditioned in this lifetime to who we are today. Take for example, a twins are born and one is being taken care of by his own family and one is given away to another family. Let's say the original family are very poor. That's why they need to give one child away. And they are given, the second children was given to a very rich family. 20 years later, what will you think these two children will look like? These 2 children will look like? Yes, all the experience that we encounter. In our counseling theory, we actually learn of this thing called the family of origin. When persons that comes to us and bring their issues to us, usually we will ask them about their parents, about their grandparents. Why is that so? Because our parents learn from our grandparents how they behave, how our grandparents teach our parents. This is how they're going to teach us. Make sense? And we also see the grandparents, the occupations, just now I'm talking about, how they bring out children, their behavior, their own background, stuff like that. Because whatever the third generations, the two previous generations, you bring down to our parents. And we are being, most of the time when we were young, in the psychology, actually the early part of our life, especially the first 6 years, will determine how we will behave in our future, how we will respond to situations in the future. So it's like if your parents will guide you in this way, let's say, I know for the Chinese family, I always see this, when a children fall down, sometimes the parents will come, then they'll beat the floor, it's like, oh, it's the floor's fault, not your fault, it's okay, I sayang you, but I beat. What does it tell you? Somebody is at fault all the time. If I hurt, somebody is at fault. And when we grow up with this mentality, even as an adult, when things happen to us, we always point finger at somebody else. Other people are at fault for my suffering. So if you have any parents sitting here right now, be very careful of what kind of informations and what kind of behavior patterns you are imparting to your children. Small little things will become their behavior in the future, how they will behave and how they will think. Scary or not? We never thought of it, right? But it's all these small little things, sometimes those children that come from a single child family, the parents and the grandchildren will treat their children like a precious jewel, spoiled, really spoiled. Everything is you are the queen and the king. What will happen when they go out to the society? Because they are so used to being the center of attractions. When there is some suffering happen in their life situations, chances are they have not conditioned yet on how to handle difficult life situation. And if you are not careful, they may harvest hatred in them. They may harvest, I need to fight back. They may harvest, I don't know, any kind of things that can, again, depends on their conditioning, how the family educate them when they are young. Right view or wrong view? Wrong view. So after we learn Buddhism is to correct all this view. And if you intend to be a parent in the future, or if you are already a parent now, I think it is good that, be more aware of your thinking pattern and your behavior. That's why I want to teach about this for. Once you are aware of this, then in the future you will understand, why I need to stop this. So that the past two generations' behavior patterns and thinking patterns, not negative one, I'm talking about those dysfunctional one, it will not bring forward to our next generation. So it's like, something do wrong, we punish. That's how the grandparents teach my father, and my father teach me, how they educate me. But it doesn't mean that I need to continue this further, this kind of behavior further. Our generations, because of our teachings of the Buddhist practice, we cut all this out, and we use the right view and the right behavior patterns to educate our children, so that the whole family tree will have the opportunity to change. So for people who have mental issues and all that, by understanding, not just, we don't really address their emotions, or, sometimes we don't really, apart from understanding their emotions and all that, we really need to know how they are being brought out, how they are being conditioned. That's why they have these behavior patterns. We go to the root cause. Again, it's very Buddhist teaching. We go to the root cause. What was the cause of this behavior? So who you are today, apart from fire, I get all this a bit too chim. Who you are today, you are being conditioned. And please don't blame anyone for who you are, how you think, how you behave, because we are being conditioned. And now that we know, it is a time for us to uncondition it. And first is recondition, and later on will be unconditioned. Because Nibbana, which is the highest state of Buddhist path, Nibbana is a total cessation, which is unconditioning. Now we have a lot of conditions. Now you understand what is conditioning, right? Do we have a lot of conditioning? We have a lot. If we don't understand, we will keep on going on round and round and round and round and round, just like the fire ring that I talked about earlier on. And we will never get into the state of Nibbana. But if you want to gain Nibbana, we have to understand how we are being conditioned so that we can recondition and eventually uncondition. Make sense? Any feedback, any thoughts? I'd like to share. I'd like to hear your own experience if you'd like to share.
Sayalay?
Yes.
Can I ask a question about the previous one about impermanence and suffering?
Sure.
I feel like
maybe that one impermanent suffering, we keep to the question and answer section. Now we talk about this concept of conditioning and I, me, and my, how we are formed. Anybody have any question on this, or do you have anything so relatable that you want to share, or any experience you want to talk about? So like how we respond to the world. Yes, we are being conditioned by workplace, our education system. Why Singaporeans are so kiasu? We compare Singapore and Malaysia, we're just a street apart. And we are so different. Why? Again, it's about conditioning, our education system. We are trained to be, we must always be the best, always in this compete mode, We forgot about what is contentment. We forget about how to relax. We only fight and fight and fight. This is how we are being conditioned in Singapore. Healthy, we achieve many things. Certain level of stress is good because we can achieve results. But if we don't know how to unwind, we will suffer in the long term in terms of health, in terms of relationship, because we're always so tense out, we become a little bit more impatient, a lot more emotions, negative emotions. It's all because of our conditioning. So understanding your own conditioning, really take time. It sounds very simple, but really take time to understand yourself, how you are being conditioned. Because without understanding how you are being conditioned, there's no way you can understand yourself. And if you don't understand yourself, there are many things it's very difficult to let go. You, as a Buddhist, you keep hearing letting go, letting go, letting go. Easy or not? Very difficult. Why? Because we put everything together and we don't know how it becomes like this. All the knots are tied together. So at least we must slowly, disentangle it to see how you're being conditioned from childhood, your family background, your education background, perhaps your workplace. After I learned this, right, I actually took a few months just to observe my parents. I really observed them, their behavior patterns, their response, their thinking patterns, and I try to reflect back on myself. Okay, this pattern, these habits represent my mom. These habits I pick up from my dad. This thinking pattern, from my mom. Like this, I try to identify, but I don't criticize them or judge them because they are being conditioned by their grandparents that way, and that's how they lead their whole life. We are very fortunate because we learn the Dharma. we understand and we were trying to change the whole family structure by starting from ourselves first. Because once we break, because of interdependence, the law of interdependence, you will affect the whole family by your new behavior patterns and your response. Yeah, so powerful or not, Dharma? Powerful, right? Urban practitioner can practice easily? Can, as long as you put some effort to observe and know what to observe and know what to change. Remember, I asked you all to work on the thoughts in the first sessions. It all link out because you will slowly to understand you're no longer in the thought, so you can pull out and see, is this good or bad? You have this ability to investigate, and that's wisdom. And things that are not healthy, we pull out, we change ourselves, and that is diligence and that is practice. Too heavy, the top? Okay. Okay, yeah. Understandable? Yeah. I hope by telling you all this, you can understand better how to put non-self, which is a very abstract concept, into your daily life, so that you can really, really slowly change and progress in your practice. That is my only wish for you. And now I put 4 categories. You don't have to answer me because I think very paiseh. But 4 category, okay? I forgot to do the slides. One is I am okay. Very healthy self, yeah? Now we're talking about anatta self. Non-self, but in order to go non-self, I need to understand self first. How am I now? Yeah, because they are conditioned to become their way. Yes, it's all conditioning, and we need to understand so we can uncondition, recondition first. Recondition from dysfunctional to functions, then from functional, then we can go to the higher dharma, then we can gain liberations, normal rebirth. There are steps. If somebody is still a lot of dysfunctions, behavior patterns, the self, the I is very solid, you want to jump to the higher Dharma practice, very difficult. Honestly, very, very difficult. So break it down. Always break it down. Make it simple, one step at a time. No rush. Okay, may I share my experience? Sure, why not?
Hi, Venerable. My name is Sharon.
Yes.
I'm a teacher in a primary school, in a special education, actually. I teach students with autism. So one thing in recent times, I find that this conditioning really stand out to me just now, because mostly the teachers in my school are conditioned to follow the instructions that are given by school leaders. So all the time is what we say, basically you just follow. So what happened is that we also noticed that those who stand out and question, they don't tend to last too long. So that become a conditioning, like if they are too outspoken, there may come a day when they are shown the door. So a lot becomes very abiding behavior. So in recent times when they started to have a KPI, because the auditor came in, so suddenly all these business strategies came in. You need to achieve this, what you want to keep, what you want to change, what you want to improve. Wow, the stress level came like a tsunami, because the teachers like, so what do we do now? Because you're so used to, you tell me what to do lah, I don't need to think. Yeah, so this was an experience that we had end of the year.
Yes, thank you for the sharing. When we know that we're being conditioned that way, sometimes we have to pray along, but at the same time, we also have to exercise our wisdom. We know this is being conditioned, but we also have the set of wisdom behind us. Yeah, again, not sucked into the situations, but a little bit detached. We perform, at the same time, we know. So you don't lose yourself, your self-identity are lost. After a while, we keep on just follow instruction, we lost our self-identity. And we become numb and cannot meditate. Once you're numb, very difficult to meditate. Yeah. Okay, coming back to the 4 categories, you try to think where you are now. First, I am okay. Very healthy self. We are talking about the I now, who you are now. I am okay. Second, I am okay. You are not okay. This kind of thinking pattern. When things happen in your life, it's always like, I'm okay. 我是对的，你是错的. Remember how we are being conditioned? Beat hit the floor, you know? Always wrong. Someone else always at fault. Number two, this is number two category. Number three, I am not okay. You are okay. This kind of person is like low self-esteem. Always like, I'm not good enough. Always self-blame. This is the category. And the fourth category, very jialat one. I am not okay. You are not okay. Slowly will lead to depressions. So where are you right now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Category 2. I am very okay. Happy. Okay, but hope everyone will be okay. Yes. Yes. Be very honest, you know. You don't have to tell me. Sometimes it's very difficult to share. But, you know, it's like, you must know where you are now. Again, this is about understanding yourself. The I, the big I that I am now. So if you are, I am okay, you are not okay. I'm not okay, you are okay. And I'm not okay, you are not okay. The last three categories. According to our study, it is like, for people in these three categories, right? Chances are they will have difficulties in forming stable relationships. They can be over-clinging towards another partner, or they might push away the partner, or, you know, people who ended up in drug addictions and all that are people generally from the three categories. The last one, I'm not okay, you are not okay. This is one of the worst conditionings that a person could have. And if you're listening right now, I really sincerely hope that you could really put in some effort to understand your thinking patterns and really have to put in some diligence to reverse, to change these behavior patterns. Otherwise, in the long run, 10 years down the road, you can already foresee what kind of life and what kind of relationship and how you will be 10 years later. Definitely not very happy. Definitely not a healthy family. You all look very serious. Does it make sense to you? I thought it was very relevant from Dharma perspective, because a lot of people want to come to the temple, to the meditation centers, and they want to practice meditations because they want to find happiness, they want to find peace. But because they do not know how they are being conditioned yet, and they force themselves into the methods, into the training, into the precepts, they keep on forcing without understanding themselves. It a bit like become constipation, and it makes the whole practice an unpleasant experience. So what are the steps to reverse the condition if we identify ourselves into one of the three categories? As you see, like so far I've been sharing about, the thoughts, our body sensation, our emotions, and our behavior. If you were to pick them out and break it down and change yourself in these four aspects, give yourself 1 year or 2 years, you will see big changes in yourself. You will see big changes in yourself. Yeah. So this is the self that I would like to talk about. I, me, my. I don't want to talk about ego because everybody talk about ego, but it's so abstract. I break it down today into a more simple, applicable level that you can really start to observe yourself, know where you are, and you know what to do next. Yeah, be very, very honest. Be very, very honest. And also check on your conditioning from your family origin, your parents, observe your uncles, your siblings, what kind of school you come from, and your workplace and your friends, because we are being conditioned with all this. Yeah. Yeah. This is our little world, the I that I am who we are now. Yeah. So another type of clinging, which is the phenomena, anything external. We cling on to cars, we cling on to house, we cling on to anything. And with this clinging, it becomes like my identity. We talk about identity, right? The I always need identity. We think that I own a big car, I got bigger identity. I live in a bungalow in the high class, in the good class bungalow district. That is my identity. Suffering or not? Is it permanent? Not permanent. It is very sufferings. And if that change, yeah, lifestyle, job type, if you cling on to that as your identity, that is not your real self. That is not you. That is not you. We always think that that is our identity, but actually that is not us. If you have the karma, you live in a good bungalow, you have a good job, good for you, I'm happy for you, continue on so you can do more for the Buddha Sasana, you know. But if you are just trying to solidify your identity, just to 爱面子, you know, then it's we are not practicing the right view. We are not practicing the Dharma way. So, like, you know, go and buy big jewelries, branded clothes, expensive bag. I remember during my working days when I'm pursuing my identity in the external way, you know, shoe must be this brand, $200 a pair. Bags must be this brand, $600 a pair. Buy. Watch must be this brand, 2,000. Buy. Just sign. You know, that's how we used to be like. I hope you are not, okay? I'm shameful to share about my past, but I think it's like, it's part of samsara world and it's part of urban lifestyle. We thought that is, we need all this to boost our ego, to be who we are. But the actual fact of you want to be self-confident, understand the 4 categories I mentioned earlier on. Know where you are. If you belong to the 2, 3, and 4, work on that. Once that change, your own confidence, your self-confidence will naturally shine from within. You don't need all the external thing to make you stand out in the crowds. People will notice you because of your qualities. This is how we can boost our identity, the right identity, not from the external identity. Okay? Good to go? Yeah. Okay, next slide. So, when we talk about 5 aggregates, I need to bring a little bit of Four Noble Truth, which is I would just want to bring the second Noble Truth, the cause of our suffering. We have this identity, right? We want to have, you know, we big car, big this, big that. That's craving for sensual pleasure. Because of we don't know who we are. We have this wrong view and we keep on functioning using the wrong view. And we have this craving to want to, we are craving for the identity because we don't know how to live without identity. Honestly, if it asks you to be non-self next moment, you don't know how to live yet. So when we have the identity, when we have this I, we have naturally will have craving. Remember the circle of fire? If we keep on turning and turning, the momentum will just keep on feeding by itself. So our life is also the same. The five aggregates, when we turn, we will have this craving for sensual pleasure. Just now we already talked about existence and becoming. To make it in the very layman term, existence and becoming relationships, 天长地久. You know, when you get married, I want you to be with you forever. After this life, next life, I also want to be together. So it's like you are having this wrong view that existence, you know, the relationship is real. I want to keep on continuing it. Yeah, this is a kind of craving for non-existent. This one is more not so common in our daily life. Non-existent is like the view that I don't want the I anymore. You know, this another extreme view, but not so common in the urban practice. So I won't go too deep into it. So craving can be craving for happiness, craving for peace, craving for power, and it also can have craving for revenge, craving for hatred, and craving for pain. When some people are in the abusive relationships, you ask them to get divorced, they don't want to get divorce. Why? Anybody want to try? Which kind of craving they have? They're in a very toxic relationships. Well, you know, physical violence, karma from past life, sunk cost. What else? Anybody want to try? Their identity are being fed by this toxic relationship. If they were to go out of this relationship, they don't know how to live. Again, is identity, the I. The craving for existence, the craving for becoming. So the craving for pain, the craving of hatred, all this is real, you know. Craving is not just craving for good stuff, also craving for our very negative emotions. But because we want to keep our identity alive, that's why we keep wanting it. Too chim or not? Like very abstract, right? Today talk. Sorry. Because non-self is not an easy topic. This is an eye-opener. Yeah. And do remember, okay, craving, clinging is selfish. It divides you from others. It creates a false belief that there is a self and others. Again, I repeat one more time. Desire, craving, any type of craving, even craving for pain, craving for sensual pleasure, is very selfish because it divides you from others. And it creates a false belief that there is a self and there is a others. Okay, as long as you have this I identity, self-cherishing, you always have I and others. My partner, my children, my job, my this, my that. I am hurt, I am pain. All this is I and others are separated. And we become a solid I and always put our interest in our first priority. Human nature, we always put our interest in our first priority before we think of other people's interests. This is how selfishness are created. I give an example. Let's say when people, okay, let's say you enjoy somebody's company, then you ask them out. Sounds normal, right? You invite your friend out for a meal. It's like, you're treating your friend. But what was your intention? What is the intention? Because you want to feed your eye. Because you want to feed your sensual pressure. Selfish or non-selfish? On the surface, you're treating your friend to have a good time. You're treating your friend. But look into the deeper intention. Was it because you want to satisfy your own sensual pressure? That's why you invite your friends out to keep you company? Or let's say, tomorrow your friend, this friend in need of your help and ask you out. You know that by going out for this appointment, that person is going to pour sorrows onto you. Will you just say yes, or you have to think twice? So the second one would be, if you were to help, knowing that by going there, you will not enjoy sensual pressure, but you still go, that's an act of compassion. It looks similar on the surface, but the deeper intentions, it make a world apart. So as urban practitioners, always check your intention. What is your ultimate motive? Was it because you want to satisfy your eye? Or was it because you are out of the act of compassion? Just say yes, still go, ha ha ha. Okay, so yeah, another slide, please. Sorry, first part is always a heavy one because Dharma sometimes need to be a little bit heavy. Later on will be the fun one, okay, I promise. These 3 marks are especially important in Buddhism because we need to see things, situations as they really are. And we need to know this so that we know how to explore ourselves and everything around us, to at least establish the right view. And from now onwards, you know how to see the world a little bit differently, a little bit with a little bit of wisdoms. Okay. Yeah. Phew. Okay, part 1 finished. The serious part is finished. Now we go to the part 2. Next slide. Yes, part 2. Again, we are exploring the lower part of the iceberg to get to know ourselves better. And today, I'm going to talk about, next slide. Today, no, not here. Yes, today I'm going to talk about body sensations. Body sensations in the 4 foundation of mindfulness. Body sensation is also one of the 4 foundation of mindfulness that Buddha's taught. And I'm not going to talk about the 4 foundation of mindfulness today, but to talk mainly on using the breathing as a way to get to more connect to ourselves. Why is it so important to understand the 4 foundation these body sensations? Anybody want to try? Yeah, what you think? We feel the pain. Yes. What else? Yes, when your body feel tight, it means we are stressed. Yes. Our body is more honest than our thought. Yes, it is exactly. Body sensations is easier to identify as compared to our thoughts and emotions. Yes or no? When you touch, when a mosquito pinch us, we can feel the sensation of easily. But sometimes our thinking is a little bit more difficult. And in the last session, somebody asked me about, is this linked to meditations? All these are interrelated actually to meditations. And why body sensations are related to meditations? Next slide. There are 40 types of samatha meditations according to the Theravada teachings. Samatha meditations is meditations for calm abiding, the stillness of the mind, and to make our mind very with a lot of strength and focus, concentrations. We need that in order to practice vipassana. Because for lay people, for normal people, a mind that is not trained, our mind are very scattered. There's no strength at all. By practice samatha meditations, it will help to strengthen our mind power so that we can penetrate doing the vipassana practice. So there are these 40 types being taught in the Theravada traditions. The first 10 type is the 10 kasina, the contemplation of the dead body, the recollections, the 4 immeasurable, the loathsomeness of the food, that means the repulsiveness of the food, 4 elements, which is earth, wind, fire, and water, and the 4 immaterial states, which is the 4 higher jhana. All these methods are still not lost. There are meditation teachers that are still teaching them. So when your mind is ready, by unconditioning and reconditioning yourself to have a purer mind, please try to learn all these methods. It will help you to strengthen your mind. Certain methods will help us to gain into the higher concentration level, as in 4th jhana, some even higher to the 8th jhana. 4th jhana is a very, very concentrated, very powerful mind, very sharp, very clear, extremely clear, no defilements. Can think very, very sharply. There are certain meditation objects like the 10 collections, recollections, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. We only can get into access concentration. Access concentration is a level where, you haven't get into the jhana yet, but jhana is a state of very high concentration. You haven't get into that yet, but your mind is still clear enough to contemplate Dhamma. Or even in your daily life, if you were to be able to cultivate concentrations or calm abiding, you can actually function better in your work and handle our emotions. And how body sensations are linked to these 40 meditations object. I'm not going to teach any of these meditation object. Go to a qualified teachers. You better to be in a retreat environment to practice all this. But for now, again, this whole talk is about doing the preliminaries so that you can train your mind in order for you to practice all these proper meditations in the future. I would link what I'm going to share today, body sensations, to the breathing exercise that I highlighted, and also the 4 elements. Why are they important? Because we need to feel our body. We need to feel our breath. Have anybody tried anapanasati? Watching the breath? I think many have tried. Easy or difficult? Some find easy, some find it difficult. In order to do the breath to get into jhana, which is the higher level of concentrations, most of the time, okay, out of 100 students, maybe less than 20% can achieve in a retreat environment. The remaining 80% cannot. It's not that easy. It's really not that easy. So, but we shouldn't get discouraged by that. Instead of getting discouraged, remember to change to the positive thoughts. Instead of getting discouraged, we see how we can practice in our daily life so that we can slowly condition ourselves to make ourselves more familiar with our breath, to be with our breath more frequently, so that in future, when you do your anapanasati proper, you are already familiar with the breath. It's just only changing to put it here, that's all. This is one reason why I thought of sharing this, the method that I'm going to share later. Not anapanasati, but a breathing exercise that is very effective. Yeah. And the 4 elements. The 4 elements is a meditation practice, very important meditation practice, because it is through 4 elements meditations that we can break down the compactness of our physical form into particles. Like you see the scientists, right? They see us and in ourselves like dot, 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 dot. In meditation practice, if you were to do 4 elements correctly and do it well, you can reach a level we can break your body, your compactness of your body into rupa kalapas. We call it rupa kalapas. Then from there, we can do the vipassana, the very high level of vipassana practice. I have tried 4 elements before. I still remember the first time when I tried doing the 4 elements meditations. We need to feel the 12 elements. Each elements, earth, wind, fire, and water, they are 4 characteristics. Let's say the earth, hardness, roughness, 硬出 heaviness, 硬出重软 softness. You know, the teacher will tell us that, you know, you have to feel this characteristic in your body. If we do not know how to feel our gross body sensations, it is very difficult for you to feel the more subtle elements in the body. So body sensation important? It is important. Yeah, so like some methods that we learn, you know, let you feel the feet. You scan your body from below to the top and top to below again and again, again and again. This is all these are training to make us be able to feel our body, to make our body and mind can be together. So these are the important aspect from the meditation perspective of why it is important to feel our body sensations. Next slide. Do you all want to meditate nice and calm like this gentleman? Is that everybody's wish? Study, contemplations, and practice is only through meditations that we can gain we can gain liberations. So yeah, in order to do that, I would hope that you please try what I share later on, a simple breathing exercise that is scientifically proven, evidence-based method. It is called, next slide, diaphragmatic breathing, or sometimes they call it belly breathing. Anybody have tried this before? Diaphragmatic breathing exercise. Yes. If you had go to the hospital, suffer from digestive issues or some of the mental health, mainly like digestions and all that, some of the doctors actually teach this method to help the body to relax. To help the body to relax, because our mind and body are interrelated. Just now I talked about the benefits from the meditation point of view, and now I will just share from the mundane point of view what kind of benefits for this breathing, for this belly breathing. Next slide. So it will slow down our heart rate. It will come. Previous slide, please. Yes. You all can read now. These are all the physical benefits that you can gain from this belly breathing. And in order to meditate, one of the very important requirement is relax. Our body and mind must be comfortably very relaxed. Only then we can feel the subtle breath of our in-breath and out-breath if you were to do anapanasati or other form of meditation. But because I'm using this breath to train, to get ourselves familiar, to learn how to relax so that we can do anapanasati proper. Why I choose anapanasati? Because anapanasati, among the 40 meditation methods, not all are suitable for all students, but anapanasati, breathing exercise, is the only one that's suitable for all type of personality. Yeah. So once you are familiar with all these breathing methods, to learn how to relax, how to get comfortable with the breath, then gradually, when you're more ready, then you do the anapanasati. Personally, when I learned this diaphragmatic abdominal breathing, I take it as a pinch of salt. I don't believe in it, but whatever people teach me, I normally would like to try. Especially this breathing exercise was taught to me by 3 different people. One was one of my meditation teacher. One was from my Qigong teacher, and one was my counseling professor. All teach me this. So I think must be quite important. So I try. So like, I just do it on a daily basis. And there was one time I remember I was cutting my vegetables, cooking lunch. And also at the same time I was doing this abdominal breathing. And at the same time also a lot of thinking, wandering thoughts. But by doing this breathing exercise, maybe because I was cutting vegetables, I was very relaxed and happy. And plus this breathing exercise, suddenly, I think I got the method correct. My thinking, the restlessness automatically cease. So I know that this method, it helps because it really helps me. And last week when I was having this tremendous family stress, it's very difficult for me to come down to do meditation proper. But I always pull myself back to this abdominal breathing so that at least I can get the grounding. I can stay calm and relaxed so that I can handle the external life situation better. So in any case, some of them have panic attack or something, or some trauma in the past. When they see certain things, their heart vibrate up, palpitations very fast. You might just want to try this abdominal. Go back to your abdominal breathing quickly. Go back to it. Pull yourself back to your breathing, abdominal breathing. Anapanasati, at the time may be a little bit difficult, but pull yourself back to this abdominal breathing. At least to get yourself ground and relax. It's evidence-based. It's really evidence-based. Oh, 4%. My doctor also asked me to do it because I got digestive issue. So 4 people teach me this method. How to do it? Next slide. Very simple. This one very, very easy. Most of the time when we are tense, our breathings are generally very shallow, as in we only use our lung to do our breathing. But if you were to observe the baby, they are always relaxed and happy. And when they lie down and sleep, you observe them. For baby, they're actually using the abdomen for their breathing. You watch, next time you got baby, right? You watch them. You see that the abdomen is the abdomen that go high up and down, not their chest. And that's why, because they are so, by default, when we are young, we use diaphragmatic breathing. But as we grow older, especially living in the city life, we get very tense. slowly, gradually, we become very shallow lung breathing. And now we are just reconditioned to go back to our original breathing so that we can get ourselves grounded and relaxed. You might just want to try, we do it together. You put one palm on your chest and put one palm at your belly. Without any instructions, you just feel. Now learning to feel your body sensations, yeah? Are you doing your chest breathing or are you by default abdominal breathing? If you're abdominal breather, when you breathe in, your abdomen is slightly expand, and when you exhale, it will inflate. Sometimes chest, sometimes abdomen, or most of the time abdominal breathing, or most of the time chest breathing. Okay, you put one hand on your chest, another hand on your abdomen. Now I'm not giving instruction yet, but just to see by default, do you normally use your chest to breathe or abdomen? If you are abdominal breather, when you inhale, you will feel that your abdomen slightly inflated. That means it moves up. And when you exhale, it should your belly will flatten down a little bit. It can be a bit subtle, so this is a training of your body sensation exercise. Get to know your body. And if you're a chest breather, you can feel that your chest is actually moving up and down. Your abdomen don't move, but it's your chest that moves. So you know your default, how you're being conditioned. Okay, so you know what kind of breathing that I am experiencing right now. If you're a chest breather and you try to force yourself to anapanasati, sometimes can be a little difficult because maybe you are not very relaxed yet. So you may just want to train on this, how to do it. Still the hand on one hand on your chest and one hand on the abdomen. When you breathe in, we make our air go all the way to our abdomen. Initially, it might be a little bit artificial. After practice a while, you will find it like more natural. If you cannot feel it, you can bend a little bit forward. It's easier to feel that. If you bend forward, right, naturally, our breathing will naturally go more to our stomach. Then you can lift up again. If possible, breathe in, hold for 1 or 2 seconds, and gradually breathe out. Gradually breathe out. As you breathe out, you can feel that your abdomen will actually, will come down a little bit. For a start, one of my teachers taught me, for a start, you can make it like a set of 30 as one exercise, and one day you can do 2 or 3 times as a so-called your formal practice. And if you do not have the time, I always do it on my MRT ride. Abdominal breathing exercise, I always do it on my MRT ride. Immediately I will come down. If you have no time, right, as and when, like just now I share, when I cut my vegetable, I will also can do my abdominal breathing. Like when I do my assignment, very stressful, right? We think a lot, right? All our energy go up to here. Then I will remind myself, abdominal breathing while I am doing my assignment, while I'm typing the keyboard. This is how you can do, incorporating this breathing into your daily life and make it autopilot after a period of practice. And when you go outside, right, you don't have to, once you are more familiar, you don't have to put your hand on your chest and your abdomen. You can just breathe naturally, but you already changed to your abdominal breathing. Okay? Any questions? Try this breathing, because a lot of time when we do anapanasati, some of them after doing anapanasati, they get tension because they are forcing to watch their breath. Remember, there's this I feel sleepy after trying this. Good, meaning that you get it correct and you finally get into the very relaxed state. And because of the day work, you're feeling tired and you are feeling your body sensations, you are tired. Just acknowledge that you are tired. And you're feeling calm. It's good that you're getting yourself grounded. You're getting your breathing correctly and you're more grounded. So for people who feel very fatigued at work and all that, try to do this exercise more often in between work, you know. You can do it in and out through the nose. You can in and out through the nose or in through the nose or out to the mouth. It's up to you. But in outside, I normally in and out through my nose. Sorry, I didn't get the last question. What was that? Wouldn't the belly always move slightly when we breathe, even though the chest, is it diaphragmatic breathing? I know you, so like we meet one day. I want to check. It's not your question?
It is my question. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
As in, because I was breathing normally and I realized that the abdomen was already moving. So I don't know, is it supposed to be like is that considered diaphragmatic breathing already? Or what?
Okay, if you're already in diaphragmatic breathing, right? Step 2 of diaphragmatic breathing would be, if you want, you can actually hold your breath slightly longer before you exhale.
Okay.
Yeah. If you were to do diaphragmatic breathing, if you do it correctly, you will know that you get grounded. You feel very grounded. And your thoughts, our wandering thoughts, will also reduce by itself.
Okay.
Yes. On the chest, breathing is more regular, not jerky like the beginning. Yes, very good. We need to practice this diaphragmatic breathing. We need to practice. And if next time we got chance to meet one-to-one, then maybe we can do together. Then I can see if you're doing correctly or not. Because some of them, this one is definitely chest breathing. Yeah. Any other question with regards to diaphragmatic breathing? Simple method, but please try. It's not anapanasati, it's not any of the 40 meditation method, but it will help us to get into the relaxation mode, which is the foundations of higher meditation. And just now, as I mentioned, halfway I was cut. Just now I mentioned, a lot of people are trying to do anapanasati, but they force to watch the breath. That means they're not watching the natural breath. And because they're not watching the natural breath, the mind cannot calm down. And once the mind is not calm, it's very difficult to develop concentrations. And the side effect will be sometimes you even feel more tired and more, a lot of tensions in the head. This is where we know that, oh, I'm not watching the anapanasati correctly because I'm not relaxed enough. If we were to do this diaphragmatic breathing in the daily life, though it's not anapanasati, but it teaches us how to relax. It's scientifically proven. It helps to relax. And once you're relaxed, when you pay attention to your breath, as in when you're doing anapanasati in the future, we don't force ourselves into the watching the breath anymore because we are so used to our breath already. We can just relax, and the natural breath is there. We just place our attentions just here. And because we are used to body sensations, we can be with the breath easier. Concentration is easier to develop that way. Then we can talk about the higher meditations, which is the cultivation of concentrations into the jhana states. Okay, simple exercise in the daily life. Again, foundation work, foundation and foundation and foundations, so that you are more familiar with body sensations, you are more familiar with your breath, and hopefully this will help you in your higher Dharma training. Okay, any questions? If not, I open up to the floor for all other questions as in last week. How is your experience like? Awareness of the thinking? Any feedback, any difficulties, or anything that you like to clarify? So this will be your 2 homeworks, yeah? Sometimes you can watch your thoughts, and sometimes you can do this diaphragmatic breathing, if possible, twice a day, 30 times each round, or as you know, even 10 times is also better than nothing, to recondition ourselves to this natural breathing. So anytime when you feel tense, we need to practice in our daily life because it becomes a habit. We build out the momentum. Don't wait for life crisis to happen, then we practice. Too late. It's too late. So we cover about, today talk is a bit messy. We talk about conditioning. You also can observe how you are being conditioned to who you are today. And you can also pay attention to your relationships around you, with your friends, with your family. Are they healthy? Are they functionable, or having some issues? If you're having some issues, then you will check, is it me? Is it my conditioning or the other person conditioning? So do not judge other people anymore because everybody is being conditioned. It's not their choice. They behave the way they are. It's not their choice. They are being conditioned. So with that, we have more compassion toward other people first. Secondly, it's easier for us to learn to let go. And letting go is one of the very important virtues in Buddhist practice. Yeah, I would like to share on what? Yes, you want to share?
Hi, Venerable. Just
Yes.
to let you know, I did my homework. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Right. What happened was there was this, you say, negative or undesirable thoughts that come in, and I thought I was able to suppress it. So I said, okay, I chant like a Buddha's name or Bodhisattva's name. And then I thought, wow, maybe this is not bad. I can suppress it for a while. It went down for a while. But after some time, this was at night. So I was lying in bed and trying, okay, I need Guan Yin then. Then I thought, okay, suppress, okay. But when it came back a while later, it like came back with a vengeance. And I had nothing to suppress it down thereafter. Then I was like, wow, then maybe this is a wake-up call. I don't think you're so good after all. It's like it came back. It is like that, like a wave, a small one at first, everything is over. But when it came back a second round, without any preparation, it was just overwhelming. Then after that, I feel so guilty, like, I know shouldn't have that thought. How come I had nothing to overcome this undesirable thought? Yeah, then I feel so guilty and feel so bad. Then tell myself I'll try it again next time around, which has happened quite a few times already. Every time I say we'll try and repent, regret. Then next time around again, fail the test, then repent and try again. Yeah.
Okay. It's okay to, because we are being conditioned to who we are, and the habits is already very strong, and to change the habit is one of the most difficult job that we is one of the most difficult job a person's need to do. To change our own habits is not that easy. So you are really doing the one step, correct? You are aware, and you're trying to apply antidotes, which is very good, but you're also aware that that particular antidotes might not be suitable for you at that time. So the emotions come back more. And it is okay if you feel, maybe instead of feeling very, you blame yourself for that is self-blame. It's like, I am not okay. Remember just now we talked about I am not okay. You are solidifying that patterns of I am not okay. So instead of that, you might just next time, if that happen, like, you cannot suppress, tell yourself, it is okay. I am a baby taking my baby step to relearn a new behavior patterns. So with that, it's more like a compassion and loving kindness toward oneself rather than blaming. So from there, you're changing I am not okay to I am okay. It is okay. I made some mistake, but it is okay. Baby step. I'm taking my baby steps. Yeah.
And Venerable, if I were to link it to this sharing, it's very impactful because in school, I realized, because I'm in charge of a small English team, and I find that most of my friends, after what you mentioned, right, I have a certain characteristic. Most of my friends tend to be people who come, and I'm like their emotional dustbin. I find that I'm with them, I'm the one where they will pour out. So like you mentioned just now, friends ask you out, yes, they'll buy you a drink, but I end up sitting there like that 2-3 hours, I hardly say anything above the and then it just comes out like that. And then they feel so happy after that. Thanks for being such a good listener. Like you don't keep advising or anything, you just listen. Then I realized most of my friends are actually like that. So now that I think it's conditioning from young, I'm like, you just take things, even if not nice, you just absorb. You are the nice person. Yeah, you don't retaliate and speak up or lash at people. It's not nice. Teacher always say that. Yeah, you always need to do things right. So, tonight's lesson was very impactful on the conditioning part.
Yes, yes. That means you have the quality to be a counselor. Okay. Sai Kiang, thanks, Sharon. Sai Kiang, I think you raised your hand.
Yes, Sayalay. Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you for your talk. I have been trying to watch my thoughts also. And actually, I've been trying also to watch before the thought, the feelings. Yeah. And I realize most of the time is negative. That means when I go out, like somebody in front of me, I will have thoughts like, how come she's so slow? Why is it blocking my way? Then after that, you look at people talking and then you overhear them. And then you tend to be very kepo. Then you sort of like, narrate in your mind. You start commenting, other people's
Forming stories.
Yeah. So you just be led by, whatever you see, whatever you hear, you just go. So now what I'm trying to do is to be aware of the first 4 senses. That means the eye when you see, the ear when you hear, the nose when you smell, and the taste when you taste the tongue when you taste. Just know that is, the feeling arising, and then you try to look at it. But sometimes it's very difficult because you just get led by whatever you see, whatever you hear. So sometimes it's very difficult to get pulled back. And then I realize a lot of negative emotions, like very easily irritated.
Yes.
Because I don't like people to smoke. Then when I see smokers, that irritation will come. Very naturally it just come.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my sharing for observing the thoughts.
Thank you. Wow, I'm so happy you really do a whole. So, yeah, give me inspirations. Yes. With regards to this, right, I would like to share a story with you. It's a book that I read in the past. This book is called The Word of My Perfect Teacher. So one of the story in the book was there's this practitioner. He start to observe his own thoughts, just like you have just did. So you are already, congratulations, become an urban practitioner. No need to go to the forest, and you are practicing right here in the city life. And for that variable, he put an extra effort. You know, he piled a pile of black stone and a pile of white stone. When he had bad thoughts, right, he will put one black color stone closer to him, and he has wholesome thoughts. Then he put one white stone closer to him. During the initial part of his practice, is 99.9% of black color. It's only after years of training that it eventually becomes balanced. And it took him a long time from all black to balance, then gradually become more white than black. So I'm very, very helpful, very, very happy for you, because you are actually start to observe your own thoughts and you are aware what kind of thinking patterns you are right now. This is the very first step of real practice. You get to know yourself, the iceberg, you know, the lower part of the iceberg, and you are doing it. Very, very good. Continue the practice.
So my question is, how then do I, stop all this negativity? So I have to bring in positive thinking. Like if let's say somebody smoke and then I get very upset, I should just ignore that emotion, or I should cultivate loving kindness for that person, or what is your advice?
Maybe for beginners, right? Instead of always applying antidotes that we're so used to, everything must find something else to cover it up. Instead of doing it, maybe for now, I don't know if it's work for you to try. You're just aware. You're just aware, like, okay, I have a lot of this negative, and see how long this negativity will last. So you actually, the mind is very tricky. Or I say the mind is very interesting in terms of practice. Once you know, right, it actually stops the momentum. If you keep on awareing it without applying antidotes, after a while, the momentum actually start to, the gap become longer and longer. So it's like, maybe right now it's like when you see the smokers, immediately there are many negative thoughts coming. But if you don't want to apply antidotes or anything, no more cover up, no more sweeping under the carpet, but just allow the situation to be ease. And let's see, by this awareness practice, can your mind gradually regain strength? Yeah.
I will try. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question?
Sayalay,
Yes.
actually, can I say something? Actually, some of the students, they actually did their homework, but because we didn't share the link last week, because you say you wanted to add something to the link.
Oh, sorry.
So we didn't share the link. So those who wanted to do the homework, they couldn't submit to us. That's why you only received one.
sorry. I was very, very busy and very, very tired. Sorry.
So they didn't get to send in the homework.
You all can submit if you all want, and if you all have any question also can share if you all are too shy to share openly like this. But your question is actually other people's question as well. You're just being a bodhisattva to help others to ask the question so that everybody can learn. Act of compassion. You can do diaphragmatic breathing while you're doing walking meditation. So it's like you are aware that at that point in time, you're observing your whole body sensations, like you know your breath, you know your feet, the body sensations. But this might not give you a very good concentration if you have too many objects. But it's just a good exercise for you to get to connect to your body better.
Venerable, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
we are conditioned by our parents when we are young, but now we are old already. We come to know Buddhism. So have we got to condition to Buddhism?
Yes, we pick up a lot of habits to become who we are today. But after we get to know the Buddhism, remember Noble Eightfold Path? The first path is right view. And you know that all this conditioning is not helpful. It's not helpful for you. It's negative. Then what we need to do? Change, take action according to the Buddhist way. And that itself is a practice. Yes.
Okay.
Any more questions? 9:30 already. Last question. Hui Wen, raise hand. Yes, Hui Wen.
Yes, I live for the talk. Yeah, so my question is right. So I think recently, because I was trying to observe like when I get angry, and then I think about something that happened in the past, and then I got angry. So I try to just observe my anger and my thoughts. But then the more I observe, the angrier I get. So I think maybe I'm not doing right. So I just decided to just stop the thoughts like what you taught us, because it's
Okay.
just going nowhere. I realized it's not going anywhere. Then I just stop. And then the anger comes back again. And then I try to stop it again.
Okay.
So it's
okay.
I don't know whether this is also a method that I can continue to use. Like if I find this very like nonsensical anger arising, yeah.
If the anger is too much that you cannot detach, that's why you become more angry. That means you are already into the anger. You are not detached. That's why the anger continue and it's very difficult to pull out. If that's the case, you might want to apply a little bit of antidotes. Yeah, to make the mind a little bit smoother before you observe the thoughts again.
Okay.
So like today we talk about diaphragmatic breathing. Maybe you can do some diaphragmatic breathing. Say, let's see, can bring you to a more stable and more relaxed state before you observe your thoughts again. Yeah. Or you can do metta meditation if you know. Sometimes you need to apply antidotes. Without antidotes, we can only do it when we can have a little bit of detachment.
Yeah, I tried it. Thank you, Sally.
Mhm.